All
right, good evening. It is 6:30. This is the Planning and Zoning Commission. It is July 6th, 2021, 6:30. We're in City Hall, Council Chambers at 101 South Main Street. We'll jump right in. I guess we do have a forum present, correct?
Correct.
Did Mr. Fraser?
He has not.
Okay. We'll go ahead and call an order and announce that we have a quorum present tonight. And we'll move on to action letter B, the Citizens Forum. This, the Planning and Zoning Commission invites citizens to speak on any topic. However, unless the item is specifically noted on this agenda, the Planning and Zoning Commission is required under the Texas Open Meetings Act to limit its response, responding with a statement of specific factual information, reciting the city's existing policy, or directing the person making the inquiry to visit the city staff about the issue. No commission deliberation is permitted. Minutes to speak. I don't think we have anybody signed up to speak or anything. Okay. Moving on, then we'll go on to C, which is to discuss, consider, and possible action on the meeting minutes for June 7th, 2021 meeting. Everyone have a chance to review? Any discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Motion by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor? All right, moving on into actions. Letter D, discuss, consider, and possible action on approval of a replat for lot 23R of the Oakview Estates, being a 2.024 acre tract of land situated in the David Laughlin Survey, abstract number 504. City of Joshua, Johnson County, Texas, and locally known as 917 Greenbrier Drive. City staff?
In 1972, this property was platted into 1 acre lots known as Oak Haven Estate. The current property owner purchased 2 lots in 2021. This property is zoned R1 single family residential district. The property owner is combining 2 lots in order to build a secondary structure on the vacant lot. With the 2 plots platted as one, the property owner will comply with the city's zoning ordinance, which requires a primary structure before a secondary structure can be built. Water is provided by Johnson County Special Utility District. A letter of final approval has been submitted. Rights-of-way dedications have already been dedicated along all abutting streets. This plat appears to meet the minimum requirements for a final plat as set forth in the City of Joshua subdivision ordinance. Therefore, we recommend approval.
Just so we can make sure this is basically just, we're combining these 2 lots into one for him to add in an accessory building. Is that your owner here?
I'm the father-in-law.
Okay. Well,
I actually sold you the lots.
I got you. Okay. Well, just to get clarification, this is just not another house being built on this. It's more or less combining the 2 into one. So an accessory building can be added to it. Is my understanding. Am I saying
Correct. So currently they have the 2 separate lots. In order for an accessory building to be built on what's the vacant lot, it needs a primary structure. So we're combining both lots. It has a primary structure, the house, the existing home, and they'll be constructing a secondary structure on the vacant lot, which has now become home one.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
Any other questions? Any other?
The way I understood it.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion triggered by Commissioner Conlon. Second by Commissioner Sears. All those in favor? Unanimous 4-0. Very good. Moving on to action letter D, discuss, consider, and possible action on the final plat regarding a 1.858 acre tract of land located west of Highway 134, locally known as 9 Broadway Street, George Caston Survey, abstract number 173. This development will be for a restaurant with a drive-through known as McDonald's. Please step.
Preliminary plat of Joshua Station Edition was approved in 2008. Subject property is referred to as Lot 4 as per the approved preliminary plat and will be platted as such. This property is located within the Joshua Station Overlay District and has been approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council as a planned development. This property is zoned PD, Planned Development District. The proposed development of this property is to allow for a fast food restaurant with drive-through service for McDonald's. The proposed building will be 4,500 square feet. All requirements of the detailed site plan, which include specific information related to engineering such as drainage and other transportation-related issues, have been addressed and accepted by the city engineer. Staff recommends approval of the final plat with the conditions as follows: a written TxDOT approval of the improvements proposed in the traffic impact analysis within the TxDOT right of way. For example, the replacement of the directional sign on the signal mast arm and pavement marking in the eastbound middle lane. A final approval from Johnson County Special Utility District approving construction plans and the 1,500 GMP fire flow requirements.
Thank you. Any discussions or any questions? Anybody can read that plan? Any questions on those recommendations? Did they, Jason assumed approved the preliminary plan.
Well, the issue with Jason, what is really not, well, there's two issues, Jay said. The International Fire Code that we're under, the 2015 requires 1,500 gallon per minute fire flow for commercial buildings. And they do not have that there because of the pressures that they maintain the line is. They have the capability, but they keep water pressures low, fairly low throughout the city because there's some old outdated lines we don't want to spring leaks. If a fire was to occur there, we can reach them. They'll kick the pumps on at the Plum Creek pump station and pressures will go up and it'll be fine. What we have done in the past, because we knew that there was a fix on the drawing board, is we have varianced and reduced that fire flow for a couple of reasons. One, because we can get adequate pressure when we need it. Two, these restaurants, most of their cooking areas have separate fire suppression systems already that are not dependent on water supply. And to increase the pressures, we can always add a pump station in the fire closet. And I mean, it's just not a big deal. The permanent fix is they've had plans to bring a big water line down Main Street for a number of years. The headache recently has been TxDOT not knowing what they're going to do with 917, whether they're going to be under or over, and how that line was going to go, because the plan was to bring that line all the way down Main Street and stop it at 174. That's a 16-inch water line. So that's going to open up considerable improvements for commercial development, both downtown, plus it gets a big line on the west side of 174, which one does not exist currently. So it's going to be a big deal. Plus, it's going to knock out all of those variances because the water pressures will go up as soon as that's in place. The city is working with them now. We're going to partner in this deal and we're going to put some money in it, some economic development funds, maybe even some TIF funds that could become available that would, and take that burden off of the developer, because it's something that's needed to happen anyway. So we're working with them. Engineering is looking at, we were fixing to resurface a lot of Main Street anyway in a street bond. So it looks like part of what's going to happen is we're going to let them put that line in the right of way. We're going to fix the road where they don't have to. That's going to save them a considerable amount of money, help get that line in. We're working all those details out. I've got a letter from the fire chief. The fire code, section B103 allows the fire chief to make variances on fire flow for certain things, and this meets that qualification. We have his fire flow variance letter in hand. So I expect Jason will approve that until we're probably 6 months away from going to bid on this water line. So depending on how fast they move over there, the store may or may not be built. I don't know how fast it's going to go. It's going to be a 16-inch line from the overhead down Main Street, and then it's going to be a 12-inch line from Main and 174 south to the TIF. And it'll tie into the 8-inch lines that are there. And pressure problems goes away for the apartments and for everybody out there. So that's the permanent fix. This happened because, Brent, you may recall years ago, there was an agreement from the school district to put in a 12-inch line all the way across in front of the high school to tie into Plum Street. Jason and the school district got sideways over some billing issues and got into a whole big mess. The school district pulled the plug on the project, and so it was never put in. That has always kind of been an Achilles heel to Joshua Station development. At some point, we knew this was coming. Fortunately, we're already working on it. So it's a little bit slow, but had COVID and TxDOT been able to make up their mind, I think we probably would have been there, but we're close now. So I think all this is going to go away, and that line is going to probably solve 75% of the water flow problems along 174. It's going to make a huge difference. Huge difference.
Okay. Thank you. Any other concerns or questions? I'll entertain a motion, and with that motion, if someone will.
Oh, and I think TxDOT you got a letter from them. They did agree to.
Approval from TxDOT for
Yeah,
the improvements today.
We've got an email from them. They've approved the stuff, so that won't be an issue. But you still, as she recommended, we'll note it in the motion. We'll make sure those are on there before we file the plan. We'll be good.
If someone wants to make a motion, then add those recommendations.
Make that motion to approve with the notices discussed.
Motion approved by Commissioner Jenkins. Second by Commissioner Combs. All those approved, all those in favor? Here's your numbers. Anything else?
I'll tell you this, those other two interior lots did sell. So all of that property that Type A bought is now sold. I don't know what's coming there yet. They're still kind of tight-lipped, but I did get a phone call from the developing, the group, the developer that purchased it from Retail Connection or whatever they are, whoever was working with us, asking about some incentives. And I told him I'd be happy to talk to him about it just as soon as we knew what was going in. And he said, well, I'm not ready to share that information yet. And I said, I understand.
I'm just getting good water pressure.
We can be quiet, but so both of those lots are sold. We'll see what happens.
This time of day, they're per rata share of the water bill.
That's right.
We adjourn at 6:44. Thank you.
So where is the McDonald's actually going to be? Which